Hey, what's going on, guys? Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Just My Opinion Reviews. It is that time of year again, the end of the year, where I make my top 10 best, worst, favorite, all that good stuff. So, you probably already seen my top 10 favorite or top 15 favorite films of 2018. You've seen my top 10 worst of 2018. And this is my top 10 best of 2018. The way I explained it in my top 10, top 15 favorite of 2018, best and favorite are different. My top 10 best is a more of an objective approach. I'm taking my bias out of it. I'm trying to take my opinion out of it. My favorite is a more subjective approach. Yes, I still am using subjectivity when I'm going down my objective list, my top 10 best list, but the subjectivity becomes first. Now, I have not seen every film that has come out this year. And there are some films that people are saying that are the best of the year and all that good stuff. And I haven't seen it, so I can't talk about it. And I actually had those films written down, but I think I threw that list away, not knowing that I was going to use it again. But I think I have it memorized. So some of the films that possibly will be on other critics' lists or other reviewers' lists or other pundits' lists that I haven't seen is probably going to be an Oscar contender. I'm just going to go ahead and list right now, just so you'll know why those are not on my list. But the first one is Mid-90s. I heard that film was great, but I haven't seen it. Second is Eighth Grade. A third one is Unsane, Roma, and The Favorite. Now, there may be a couple of other films that are on a lot of people's top 10 lists. I just cannot think about them off the top of my head. I thought I had that written down, but it's okay. It's no big deal. But guys, so this is my top 10 best. Basically, everything on this list, I feel, has the option to win Best Picture. Now, I only really came up with 9 films, but I wanted to make 10. But then I thought about it a little bit more, and I actually have 11. So number 11 is an honorable mention. This film right here was also on no, it was not on my top favorite. But coming in at number 11 is The Mule, which recently just came out not too long ago. It's in theaters right now. Written and directed by Mr. Clint Eastwood. Great film. If you go check out my review for it. It's somewhat of a simple, concise story, loosely based on a true story, but the execution in this film was just fantastic. I love the performances. I just like the way that the story was told and then the pacing of the film. I think that was one of the best things about it. I also just like how Clint Eastwood focused on the family dynamic and their relationship at the very beginning of the film, just to kind of show, what type of relationship he had and what type of man this guy was. But other than that, I mean, you can go check out my review for the film, but I thought it was great. Like I said, the story was great. The pacing was fantastic. The acting was great. I loved it. There were, Clint Eastwood, he's always, playing with race and things like that, racism, and, has, just always something thought provoking. It was one of my commenters that, on this review, I like his comment. I didn't even, he gave his 2 cents on the racism or whatever. I think it was a white guy, and I really did appreciate his perspective on some of the things that especially older white people can say. So I appreciated that comment. But coming in at number 11 is The Mule. It's freaking fantastic, and it possibly a best picture contender. Coming in at number 10 again is going to be a tie. Because I still can't decide which film I like more, and that is Black Panther and Avengers Infinity War. I own both of those right there. Still, guys, I cannot determine which film I like more. It's just too difficult. I also have it in 3D right here, so you can get the IMAX ratio, and oh my gosh, the IMAX ratio is worth it, guys. Even if you want to watch it in 2D, if you have a 3D TV, and if you don't have a 3D TV and you want to watch it in 2D, email me and I can teach you how to convert the file, because I had to figure it out myself. But both of those films is fantastic. I mean, the acting, I mean, I can nitpick both of those films too if I want to, but I'm not going to do that. But both of those films had very compelling antagonist in the film. Thanos is a villain. I'm not going to call Killmonger a villain. I'm just going to call him an antagonist. The effects was great. The costumes was great. The acting was great. The story was great. I love both those films. Both of them have done stuff for me technically and creatively that I've never seen before in a theater going experience. So that's why I put those on my top 10, best films of 2018 that have a list, a way of winning Best Picture. Now, these have a number of ways to win Oscars in a number of different categories, but I think they possibly deserve a shot at Best Picture. But these are in sequential order of my opinion of them, of how much I like them. Coming in at number 9 right here, this is also on my top 10 favorite list of 2018, and that is The Incredibles 2. I love this film right here. There's really nothing that I don't like about it. The effects were great, the story was great, and the characters was great. The only thing that did not make this film a perfect 10 out of 10 to me was the villain was a little, he wasn't as good as he possibly could have been. I think the villain was better in the first film. But all around, guys, this was an incredible film. I love it. That's why I have it not only on Blu-ray on 4K right here. It's something that I can watch over and over again. Not only is this one of my favorite films of 2018, I think this is one of the best films of 2018. This is not just for children. This is for adults. It's really compelling storytelling. They really thought everything through, and I love this film. Coming in at number 8. Let me mark these out real quick. Is a film directed by Mr. Bradley Cooper. I believe this was his directorial debut, and that is A Star Is Born. Not only was his directing fantastic, but his acting was as well, complimented by the lovely Miss Lady Gaga. She is a fantastic performer, and it came through in this film, and she can also act her ass off too. I love the intro of this film and how it showed their relationship and how it bloomed into something that couples can possibly aspire to. Just the tension in this film, just the way they communicated and everything about it, I just found was phenomenal. Now, this is number 8 in this film because I didn't put it at the top of my list because the film came in at around 2 hours and 16 minutes. I feel that they could have shaved off about 15 or 20 minutes. There were a couple of pacing issues. But the film was still great. The story was still, just out there, outstanding. And just those performances, man, the acting was freaking fantastic. I was almost in tears in my eyes at some points because it was just that sad and that daunting, but also uplifting all at the same time. So I really did enjoy this film. It's probably nothing that I would buy and watch over and over and over again, but because it's not one of my favorites. This is not my style of film, but I can still appreciate, great filmmaking. And that is why A Star Is Born is on my top 10 best list of 2010, coming in at number 8. Now, this film coming in at number 7 was also on my top 10 favorite of 2018. And that is, it was directed by John Krasinski. That is A Quiet Place. I think it's very hard to have a very great, thought-provoking, suspenseful mystery film when you don't really have any dialogue. I mean, the only thing you can do is it just come out in performance with no words. And they were able to do that, okay? I was able to tell with all their mannerisms and, things like that, just of the stress, that they had to go through to live in this lifestyle. I mean, and it was a lot of your edgiest moments. This is in the trailer, the scene where she's trying to have the baby. I was like, oh my gosh, how in the hell are they going to get out of this situation? You know what I'm saying? And I watched this movie. I can't even really talk myself because you don't want to disturb everybody else because it's a quiet movie. It's a quiet place. And when you can do that, when you can have that type of experience in the theater or even at home or whatever, it's just great. It's something that you've never, experienced before, at least for myself. I love the film. Everything about it was fantastic. It is a great film. It is. I haven't bought it yet, but it probably is something that I'm going to be buying. And that is A Quiet Place, coming in at number 7. One of the best films, one of my favorite films of 2018, and that's why it comes at number 7. All right, coming in at number 6 is a film that I was looking very forward to. I feel that it paid off. It's directed by Mr. Peter Farrelly, and that is Green Book, which stars Mahershala Ali and Viggo Mortensen. Mahershala Ali, he was one of the villains in the Netflix series Luke Cage. I can't believe why I couldn't think of that. And also Viggo Mortensen, he was also Aragorn in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Viggo Mortensen is playing a racist in this movie. but the relationship between the two and the way they grew, I loved. The timeline, the film takes place over like an 8 or 9 week period. I don't know if I can believe someone can make that big of a transition in 8 weeks, but this is based on a true story about how in the dirty South in the 1960s, you know, black people had to carry around like a green book so they wouldn't get raped, tortured, lynched, and things like that. You know, that was just America. You know what I'm saying? You know, make America great again. This is some crap that we had to go through, you know what I'm saying? And this film, you know, talks about it. The best thing about this just was the performances and also the story. I loved it. It touched me. It got me emotionally. People in the theater around me were crying and things like that. I love the film. If you want my full review for it, please subscribe to my channel and go check out my full review for the film. But that is number 6, Green Book, coming in at number 6. All right, guys, coming in at number 5, this film was on my top 10 favorite list of 2018 as well, and that is Creed 2, directed by Mr. Stephen Caple Jr. I love Creed 2 more than the first film too, and I really feel like this is, you know, one of the best films. I would not be mad. I would be really happy if this film won Best Picture, because across the board it was fantastic. I mean, I remember, maybe I had a gripe in my review, but right now I can't remember. But I remember having a gripe or two in Creed 1, but I don't think I can remember any gripes in Creed 2. I love this film. I thought it was fantastic. Michael B. Jordan, Tessa Thompson, Sylvester Stallone was great. The story was great. Felicia Rashad was great. Victor Drago was great. Even the fact that we got a little bit of story with all the rushes and what happened at the end of Rocky IV. This was like the perfect sequel to that film. It's the perfect sequel to Rocky IV. It's the perfect sequel to Creed 1. It's just a great film across the board, and I love it, guys. And that is why it is coming in at number 5 on my top 10 best films of 2018. All right, we are now down to the final 4 films of 2018. This one was also on my top 10 favorite of 2018, and that is The Hate U Give, written and directed by Mr. George Tillman Jr., who did Soul Food, Notorious, and also Men of Honor with Cuba Gooding Jr. This film spoke to me on so many ways. This film was like the perfect way to squeeze in real life in this political climate we're in into one movie, to give you so many different perspectives on black people, white people, the way they view racism, white supremacy. I mean, like, like every character in this movie, I could point to somebody. Oh, I know somebody like that over here. I went to high school with somebody like this. I work with somebody like this. One of my friends is like this. Somebody I like is like this on both sides, black, white, red, yellow, and brown, on all sides. It was just a great film, a great story. Had a ton of American DOS in this film, a ton of American descendants of slaves in this film as well. You know, it was great. Go check out my full review for this film. Please also go see this film if it's still in theaters in your area, because it's doing horrible at the box office. But I love this film, The Hate U Give. I really do feel like the performances and the stories does put this up there to possibly win Best Picture. Coming in at number 3 is a film that I slept on. And I just recently saw it maybe 10 hours ago. And so many people were telling me, B, you got to see this film. B, you got to see this film. B, you have to see this film. I'm so glad I saw this film, because that was right, guys. You was not lying, especially you, Cameron. I don't know if you're watching this, bro, but you hit me up on Facebook sometime. But that is Blind Spotting. This film was so damn amazing. Oh my gosh. I love the title of this film, Blind Spotting. I don't want to necessarily tell you what the title of the film means, because it reveals itself in the film. And I just think it'll have more powerful impact if you see it yourself. But this is a comedy, crime, and a drama. You can take it seriously. It's being directed by Carlos Lopez Estrada. It's a short film. It's only an hour and 35 minutes. So please check it out. David DeViggs, dude. Who are you, bro? You are now on my list. You was born in 1982, so that makes you 36 right now. You'll be 37 in the new year. Bro, I am putting you on my list. Like one of my favorite actors. I've never seen you before. You was, I see you was, oh, snap. You was in that movie, Wonder, Mr. Brown, and I love Wonder. Wonder was one of my favorite films of 2017, and I remember you now, but this guy right here, this performance was just phenomenal. I love the fact that this film right here, it basically just kind of says F you to the stereotype, the black stereotype of, you know, dreads, braids, that you're a thug, you're a hoodlum, you know, you're a menace to society. This flips around on his head and just like, you know, that kind of has to do with the title. I kind of, I gave you a little nugget right there, but my goodness gracious, one of the last scenes of this movie was one of the best scenes I've seen like in forever. Like this dude was going around freestyling his feelings and emotion in real life, and it like flowed so well. It was so beautiful. Like it was so much passion and truth in his performance. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like there's nothing wrong with dreads, and like it's not dangerous. It doesn't mean that you're anything. And he was like, man, F it, man. This is my identity. Bro, I feel the pain that he was going through in this film. It was just a great performance. The performances across the board were great in this film. It was a bunch of stupid characters, you know what I'm saying? But I love this film to death. I think you will too. Unfortunately, this film right here, I don't have a review for it up on my page. Cause I just saw it not so long ago, but guys, it is a great film. I loved it. I strongly recommend you see this film. Man, I was feeling it so much. It was so much pain and heart in this film. And, I just got to give it to everybody. I have to say one gripe though. The only thing I did not like is the director gave the permission of some brown people to say the N-word in this film. I was not cool with that. It kind of pissed me off. I'm like, whoa. I did not like that. Now, when it comes to the N-word, I did like the fact that it brought to the forefront that other groups do use it behind closed doors. I like how they did that. Because that's just the reality of the situation. But other than that, one other thing, I just wasn't feeling that or whatever. But Blind Spotting, one of my favorite films of this year. One of my best film of the year as well. And it's not even on my favorite list, but, oh well. All right, guys, we got 2 films left. Coming in at number 2, best films of 2018. It was also on my top 15 favorite, and that is BlacKkKlansman. I got that right there, baby. I love this film. It was freaking fantastic. Spike Lee, the director and the writer. Jordan Peele is the producer. John David Washington, Adam Driver. This film spoke to me on so many levels. The political climate that we're living in, Spike Lee did that. He always does his nice little dolly shot at the end. I love that. I love everything with the Black Panthers. And when I was talking about this film right here, I forgot somebody's name. And I want to look it up real quick. I think it's Corey Hawkins. He was in Straight Outta Compton. Let me see real quick. Y'all don't mind. Yeah, Corey Hawkins. He played Kwame Ture. I love this film. It just so unapologetic it was. The performances are great. The story was great. I was having a debate with somebody a while ago about like if this film is completely based on a true story, and it may not be. And they were kind of arguing like, hey, well, no, I'm going to keep this thing positive. I love the film. It's one of my favorites of the year. I think it was the best film of the year. On the cover, it says a stunning tour de force by A.D. Scott in the New York Times. I do agree. It's just a great film. Really nothing that I can complain about. And I really think you should see it. If you want to see my full review for the film, please subscribe and go check it out. It is on my channel. But we got BlacKkKlansman, baby, coming in at number 2 for my top 10 best films of 2018. And guys, last and definitely not least, this is the best film of the year to me. I really would love this film to win Best Picture. If it doesn't, hey, it is what it is. But, I really did love this film. Also, hold on, let me just pull up something else real quick. Yeah, that's cool right there. Okay, guys, coming in at number 1 for the best film of 2018, the film that I want to win Best Picture. It was based on a novel of the same name by brother James Baldwin. Rest in peace, my brother. It is written, directed by Barry Jenkins, and that is If Beale Street Could Talk. Oh man, this film right here. I talked about how The Hate U Give, BlacKkKlansman, and Blind Spotting spoke to me, and this Beale Street Could Talk spoke to me even more. I said before that I said this in my review. I said this in my top 10, top 15 favorite of 2018, that this film right here is a textbook example of Black love, not only from the main 2 protagonists in this film, the actor and actress, but the entire film itself. The love in the family, the love in their relationship, the love in the film itself, and just your fellow neighbor. There's just so much love in this film. But besides all the love, it's just the performances that complement it. You know what I'm saying? And about this film right here, I love finding, I don't think I said this in my review because I was so excited and I was geeking out. I didn't even cover all my notes. But, when it comes to a relationship, of course, women, of course you want a good strong looking man. You know, you possibly want him to have muscles. You want him to look good physically. You want him to treat you well and talk to you well and listen to you. You also want good sex. I mean, these are givens, you know, but on top of all that, you know, and ladies, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think a woman wants a man that can have a stimulating conversation, that can elevate her mind to a place to where she's never thought before. You know, someone that can just make her think and challenge her, expose her to things that she's never experienced before. I think that's something that a woman would appreciate. And that's what Mr. Brother Stephen James, Alonzo Funny Hunt did in this film. And the way it was illustrated on film, you know, he lit up the room with smiles, you know, just being himself. And that's just something that I really do love. This film right here, the way they was just showing how a father, a husband loves the mother in front of the children is something that I think is extremely important in any family, no matter what skin color there are, but especially the black family with all that we go through. And they put all this in the film. I mean, we get dramas, we get comedies, we get biographies, but I really can't remember how many films we get that has to do with like a deep, enduring love story. And this film, if Beale Street Could Talk, is all of that and more. The soundtrack in this film, the score was one of the best scores I've ever heard in my entire life. Not the best, but one of the best. I can possibly say top 10. Some of you may disagree with me on that front, but that's perfectly fine because this is my list. And if you have your own, that's perfectly fine as well. But I will be buying this film when it comes out. Brother Barry Jenkins, he wrote and directed this, like I said. He also did Moonlight, which won the award 2 years ago. But this is just all around a fantastic film. I loved it. And I think you will too, guys. But let me go ahead and recap. That sums up my top 10 best films of 2018. My best picture contender list. And coming in number 11 is The Mule. Coming in at number 10 is a tie between Black Panther and Avengers Infinity War. Coming in at number 9 is The Incredibles 2. Number 8 is A Star is Born. Number 7 is A Quiet Place. Number 6 is Green Book. Number 5 is Creed 2. Number 4 is The Hate U Give. Number 3 is Blind Spotting. Number 2 is BlacKkKlansman. And number 1, I think is my best film of the year, is If Beale Street Could Talk. Again, there are films that I haven't seen. I haven't seen The Favorite. I haven't seen Roma. I haven't seen Mid-90s. I haven't seen Unsane. I haven't seen 8th Grade. Those are just films that I've heard on other people's lists and things like that. I haven't seen them. Maybe I probably will see them eventually, but, you know, just not in time for this video. But guys, that is just my opinion for my top 10 best films of 2018. What did you think? Did you like them? Did you hate them? Did I turn you on? Did I turn you off? Do you agree with me or do you disagree with me? Let me know down in the comment section below. Let's get this conversation going and keep it flowing. If you like this video, go ahead and give me that thumbs up. If you don't, that's fine, but you can still subscribe to my channel. You can also look me up on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all that good stuff. It's right there at the bottom of your screen, and I made it very easy by providing a link to all that good stuff down in the description box below. But guys, this was a lot of fun. I did not get around to seeing Mary Poppins Returns, Vice, or that Sherlock Holmes movie or whatever with Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly. I probably will see it eventually. But this is a lot of fun. 2018 was a great year. I had so much fun. My next video will possibly be a review of those films I just listed, or my most anticipated films of 2019. It just depends. I may make other lists, I may not. But guys, this was just a whole bunch of fun, and I want to thank you so much again for tuning in to my opinion/review or this other episode of my top 10 best films of 2018. And before you go, guys, don't forget to always chase your dreams, because I'm chasing mine. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and that's just my opinion. Peace.